Good evening, friends. Another important clarification pertaining to HAM project, which is being done for NHAI. What is HAM project? Hybrid annuity model. What happens is a single contract for the construction of road and then operation and maintenance. Under a project, a single bid is being done, and this money, the project cost is being divided, which is being paid to the concessionaire a certain percentage during the construction period, and the balance portion is being given during operation and maintenance and spread over defined time period. That may be 10 years, that may be 15 years. Dispute watch that, let's say construction getting completed in 5 years, let's assume, and then operation and maintenance gets spread over for 10 years. So total period is 15 years. You get 50% of payment up to the COD date, where commencement date after construction is complete. So 50% is being paid by NHAI to the concessionaire as on COD date, and balance 50% spread over 10 years, yearly payment for operation and maintenance. What department was disputing? And let me also refer, I'm handling some litigation in this regard worth of more than 200 crore for one company. I'm not naming the name of the company, but 200 crore we have tried to convince to the GST authority, sir, please look at time of supply provision. Please look at the concept of continuous supply of services. The balance 50%, which I'm supposed to get over a period of 10 years, and my due date of payment is ascertainable from the contract. Can you demand GST from me when COD, completion of construction, commencement date starts? Can you do that? But they were not listening. They wanted to levy GST as on date of COD, saying that construction complete, Bimal, you must pay GST. And we are saying, sir, please look at continuous supply of services concept. What is continuous supply of service? A contract which is recurring in nature and having period more than 3 months, recurring in nature, and payment obligation is being defined periodically. Or you can say that any specified services which is being notified by government, nothing is being specified. So this contract HAM, which I'm referring to, is a recurrent in nature and exceeding a period of more than 3 months, and payment obligation are defined in the contract. Continuous supply of services. So what is time of supply? Time of supply would be either date of invoice or date of receipt of money payment by the contractor concessionaire. That is what, whichever is earlier. If invoice is not raised within stipulated time period, then date of provision of services. This is what time of supply as we know, right? But being continuous supply of services, when you would be raising invoice to NHAI? That is the big question, right? So under section 31, subsection 5, it is clearly stated that if payment term is ascertainable from the contract, then you should raise invoice on or before the due date of payment. If payment is not ascertainable from the contract, then you should raise your invoice on or before payment is being received. Otherwise, as per the milestone defined in the contract, you should raise the invoice on or before event which is being specified. So when you're raising invoice as per the milestone, which may be payment or completion, then that is the date of invoice. So what would be looked into? Date of invoice and date of payment. So 50% payment, which is being spread over 10 years, you will be paid only after 5 years when COD gets complete. So balance 50% spread over 10 years, and you'd be getting, because payment is due that 6th year onwards till 15th year, right? That is what. Can you really charge GST for this 50% balance 50% at the end of 5 years when COD starts, commencement date, completion complete, construction complete? It should be spread over, right? That is what time of supply to be read with section 31, read with continuous supply of services. They have confirmed. Initially, they confirmed the demand, and we end up paying the pre-deposit before first appellate authority, 10% of disputed tax. Was it required? And that's what I'm pleading here. Why the basic concept which is prevalent is not being understood by the field formation? Is it not unwanted litigation? And company end up paying 10% of disputed tax going before first appellate authority. So this is not helping in terms of ease of business, but what is helping? CBIC now coming out with a clarification circular, and circular number 221 helping all such contractor concessionaires who are undertaking HAM project for NHAI. Circular number 221 dated 26 June 2024. Let me share that circular on my screen. So this is the circular which I'm referring to. So 221 dated 26 June and clarifying when GST going to be levied. So you understood the basic background, preamble, what is the HAM project, what is being done. It is being explained like that. So they have taken that what is being paid. So the same concept which I've discussed with all of you. So now what they are saying, in HAM contract, payment is made spread over contract period installment, and payment for each installment is to be made after specified period or on completion of an event as specified in the contract. So you have understood it, and they are saying it is falling under continuous supply of services, section 2 subsection 33 of CGST Act. They are again referring what is time of supply, date of invoice, or date of payment, receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. If you are not raising invoice, then date of provision of services. That is what it is being explained. So date of provision of service or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Then as per section 31, subsection 5, continuous supply, when you should raise invoice, I've told you, if payment is ascertainable on or before due date of payment. If payment is not ascertainable, then on or before payment received. If it is other than payment, it is on milestone, then on or before milestone achieved. This is what continuous supply of services. You should raise invoice. If invoice is raised as per the due date of payment, which is going to be spread over 10 years after COD date, then quite obvious date of invoice would be the relevant. You haven't got the money as yet. So date of invoice would be the time of supply, right? So GST leviable as per date of invoice spread over 6th to 15th year. You can't levy GST at the end of 5th year when construction complete and COD starts. Commencement date starts. That is what it is being explaining and clarifying so beautifully. Laudable. I must compliment CBIC. And great efforts. Unwanted litigation is being done away with. Of course, in my case, it has gone to first appellate authority. We have to now showcase this circular before them, and then we will get the relief. But at least hassle, legal hassle, litigation with time, efforts, and money going from both sides. taxpayer and department. We need to really look at these are the basic, and that's what it is being expected and worth 200 crore rupees demand. Only we have to confirm demand without going into the provision. How it is making sense to all of us together? It is not making sense. But nevertheless, laudable clarification. What they have said, that it is clarified tax liability on concessionaire under HAM contract, including construction portion, would arise at the time of issuance of invoice or receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. If invoice is issued on or before the specified date or the date of completion of event specified in the contract as applicable. That's what I said. If invoices are not issued on or before the specified date or on date of completion of event specified in the contract, then tax liability would arise on the date of provision of said services. That is due date of payment as per the contract, or the date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. We have got this in very clear terms. So it is being clarified that installment or annuity payable by NHAI. So please don't treat that it is only for the HAM project. If it is installment in any other contract, you can draw the reference. You can draw the pari-materia reference. That installment or annuity payable by NHAI to the concessionaire also includes, and this is another part they are referring to, if interest portion is there. So balance 50% spread over 10 years after COD, right? So maybe NHAI is paying some interest because they are getting advantage of making payment on installment spread over 10 years after COD date. Some interest is being paid. Whether that need to be included in consideration for chargeability of GST, yes, need to be included. But POT will arise as per time of supply, as per the milestone defined, due date of payment or completion event. If you are raising invoice on time, as per the milestone or due date of payment, date of invoice. Otherwise, date of provision of services. This is what the clarity and laudable clarity I must compliment. Having said that, the related topic for the telecommunication industry and another circular number 222, 26 June 2024. And here they are clarifying the time of supply again for spectrum usage and other similar services. Please, when I'm saying some context, other similar services, it is referred as a spectrum usage, but it can be used for other similar services as well. And why time of supply? Very simple. A particular amount which is being paid, which is being fixed on a particular date, but to be paid over installment, would be paid over a period of time. What is POT? Time of supply. The total consideration which is being decided, or the total consideration is being paid through installment spread over a period of time. That would be time of supply. This is what we discuss in HAM project for NHAI. Here they are saying for spectrum usage and other similar services. So you must draw this reference. This is very interesting one. And there may be many issues pertaining to that. Of course, they are referring to only for spectrum usage, but you can draw the pari-materia reference once again. Now, having said that, what they are saying, and which I'm explaining to all of you, they are discussing all that, that reference of time of supply, continuous supply of services like section 2, subsection 33, like your continuous supply of services. They're also referring reverse charge. Why they are discussing reverse charge? For simple meaning, that under the spectrum allocation model followed by Department of Telecommunication. Bidder, that may be any telecommunication operator, maybe Reliance, maybe Airtel, maybe Vodafone, anyone, bids for securing the right to use spectrum offered by the government. So government is giving spectrum and they are bidding for that. Here service provider is the government of India through DOT, and recipient would be the bidder, telecom operator. GST to be discharged on supply of spectrum allocation services by recipient of service, reverse charge, telecom operator, under notification number 13/2017 Central Tax Rate Notification. In that case, in respect of say supply of spectrum allocation services, telecom operator chooses the option to make payment in installment. Of course, payment has to be made spread over the contract period in installment, and payment for each installment is to be made after specified period, as specified in frequency assignment letter of DOT, which is in the nature of contract. The same is a continuous supply of services as defined under section 2 subsection 33. Since supply of service spectrum is agreed to be provided by supplier DOT to the recipient telecom operator continuously for a period which is exceeding 3 months with periodic payment obligation. So as per section 13 subsection 1, red bit section 13 subsection 2, liability to pay tax on supply of services shall arise at the time of supply. In case of forward charge, time of supply is governed by 13 subsection 2, but in case of reverse charge, 13 subsection 3. And what is reverse charge? That it would be earliest of to date of payment or date following the end of 60 days from the date of issue of invoice. Date of payment or date following the end of 60 days from date of invoice. So here reference is very, very interesting. 13 subsection 3, you have to bear in mind for reverse charge, time of supply, RCM liability. Some of the field formation, considering frequency assignment later as akin to other document, and by whatever name called in lieu of an invoice. They are considering it is invoice. Hence your POT, time of supply, has arisen and you must pay date following the end of 60 days from date of issue of same. This is what the confusion, but it to be paid over a period of time, spread over a period of time. So that is what they are clarifying. They are giving reference of section 31, subsection 5, clause A, continuous supply of services when invoice need to be raised. That is what this is discussing. And then with this context, they are clarifying. Where full upfront payment is made by telecom operator, full, then quite obvious GST would be payable when payment of said upfront amount is made or is due, whichever is earlier. Whereas in case where deferred payment is made by telecom operator in specified installment, GST would be payable as and when payment are due or made, whichever is earlier. So it is for spectrum, telecom operator, but you can draw for other similar services when you are taking from government and you become a recipient and reverse charge applicable. So it is also clarified similar treatment regarding time of supply as is discussed in above parag may apply in other cases also, where any natural resources, to the point of royalty is really a tax or not? dispute, 9-member bench, Honorable Supreme Court, pending before Honorable Supreme Court, but they are drawing the reference and they are saying that you can draw the same reference of this circular for time of supply as discussed for any natural resources are being allocated by the government to the successful bidder or purchaser for right to use said natural resources over a period of time, constituting continuous supply of service as per definition section 2 subsection 33 with option of payment for the said services either through an upfront payment or in a deferred periodic installment over a period of time. But royalty I'm not discussing here. Royalty is a subject matter of dispute and which is pending under litigation before Honorable Supreme Court 9-member bench. Sub judice. So I'm not discussing here because that is being discussed is in the whether this is really consideration or it is for in the nature of government fees, taxes and duties. So I'm not discussing because matter is sub judice. Many things are involved in that case. We can take up separately. But of course, they are drawing the reference of that particular, other similar transaction for determining time of supply and paying the GST liability as and when it is due on installment basis. So good and laudable one. Lot of things are happening in GST. 53rd GST Council meeting has given a lot of food for all of us together. Budget, union budget expected to be presented either on 22nd July or 23rd July. Official information is yet to be out. So we are expecting many proposal, many changes, which is being recommended in 53rd GST Council meeting going to be the part of Finance Bill 2024 to amend GST law, CGST, IGST and UTGST. So keep tuned. You need to subscribe and with me throughout on my YouTube channel to take it further. So stay tuned. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.